Hey guys, I just want to start by saying thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, do subscribe, as I will be uploading more content like this to the channel. Also, you can go back and look through the channel. I have a playlist for College Hoops 2K8s where I've done similar types of career simulations, so you can check that out if you like this kind of content. But today, for this video, what we're going to be doing is a career simulation based off the premise that defense wins championships. So if you look at the thumbnail, the guy on the right is football coach Bear Bryant of Alabama University, also Kentucky. He came up with this saying that defense wins championships. So we're going to put that to the test in this simulation. Princeton will play a big role in this, so that's why they're on the thumbnail as well. And the guy in the middle, he's going to be our coach, Tony Allen, the grindfather himself. If you'll remember, Memphis back in, I guess, the early 2010s, they had this style of play called grit and grind. We're going to kind of go over it in a second, just because that's how our team's going to be run. First, we'll start with some rules for this simulation. So the first rule is our defense slider on the coaching profile. It cannot drop below 80. So we're going to play tight, suffocating defense, so it cannot drop below 80. This is a defensive build, so that will be a rule. Another rule is our offensive tempo cannot go above 60. So the reason for this is if you look at that grit and grind offense, or that grit and grind system, what they want to do is they want to force turnovers and limit possessions of the other team. And one of the ways that it kind of helps do this on the offensive end is they have a slow, methodical offense that focuses on getting high percentage shots driving to the basket. So that's what we're going to do. So as part of that, with the coaching sliders, we can't have our offensive tempo go above 60. Also, our defensive rebound and transition defense, they cannot go above 40. So the reason for this is if we're doing a defensive build, we need to focus on defensive rebounding, because defensive rebounding, that's how you close out possessions. It doesn't matter how good defense you play if you do not close out the possession. Think about the Golden State Warriors. You can play great defense on them all day long, but if they're getting offensive rebounds because you're not closing out the possession and they're kicking it back out to Steph or Clay for a three, all of that effort was for nothing. Also, transition defense, we're trying to limit possessions. So if we're getting out in transition and playing defense instead of crashing the boards on offense, that would translate to our opponents getting fewer possessions because they won't have as many fast break opportunities. So now here's how we're going to build the program. So we're going to recruit defensive players. So we're going to set both of our recruiting priorities to defense. That way we're recruiting the best of the best defensively. And we also want to get players with length. Pause. We want to get the tallest, lankiest players we can, just so that could help us with shot blocking, maybe even getting steals. Also, we want to utilize that Princeton playbook kind of for two reasons, because it's meant for a slower, more methodical offense that's kind of trying to grind you out. So for that reason, we want to utilize that playbook. Also, especially in the earlier years, we might be picking up players that are super on defense, but have almost nothing to give you on the offensive end. And this is a playbook that kind of focuses on team play, ball movement, backdoor cuts, those kind of principles. So that'll help us out on the offensive end. Also, press. The press in this game is cheesy, especially when you're actually playing the games. So we're going to either do a full court press or a full court trap. Always. I mean, I'm pretty much always going to have it. The only way I'll change it to where we only press after the basket or occasionally will be if we have depth issues. But I want to press the whole way through, really make them struggle for everything. And this will help us contribute to forcing turnovers and limiting the other team's offensive possessions. And another thing I really want to try to do is run 2 traditional bigs. And when I say run 2 traditional bigs, I mean maybe recruit multiple centers and have them play both center and power forward, like start a center at center and power forward, just to see how this affects our rim protection as well as our defensive rebounding. See how it helps us limit possessions and also close out possessions. So let's get into it with our coach. So again, here is our coach, Tony Allen, the grindfather himself. On the perimeter, he would be the cornerstone of that grit and grind system, that lockdown D pause that the Memphis Grizzlies played as part of Grind City. He's going to be our coach. And here's a look at the leaderboard that he will be fighting through as he tries to become the greatest of all time. So as you can see, we currently have a rating of 0. To even be on the leaderboard, we'd have to get a score of 113 to match Billy Donovan. And the top spot is reserved for the GOAT, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, at 332. The way that this leaderboard is done, I take and I value these different metrics for a certain point. So conference titles, whether they be regular season or the tournament, they're worth 3 points each. A 30-win season is worth 3 points. An NCAA bid is worth 1 point. A Sweet 16 appearance is worth 2 points. An Elite 8 appearance is worth 3 points. A Final Four appearance is worth 4 points. And a national championship appearance, a national championship win. So being a national champion is worth 5 points. So for example here, Mike Krzyzewski, he has 5 national championships. So you would multiply that by 5 because that's the multiplier for this category. So he'd be getting 25 points from his championships. You do that across the board for all of these. So as we can see, Tony Allen has quite a bit of winning to do in order to make this list and claim the top spot. Being that we'll be focusing on defense and running the Princeton offense, we're going to start at nowhere other than Princeton University. Now this is going to make the sim a little more difficult. So if we have the best team and we can win the regular season conference championship, we'll automatically make the tournament because they don't have a conference tournament. But if we're not able to claim that top spot in the regular season, then it's going to make it harder for us to get an NCAA tournament bid. Alright, so here we go. Season number 1 underway. I'll let you know when I change the sliders or anything over here on the coach profile. But this is what we'll be working on as promised: defense for both recruiting priorities along with the Princeton offense playbook. Our secondary defense will be a 1-3-1 matchup. Full court trap always. We're only going 7 deep, and you'll see why in a second. And here are our sliders, going all out on defense. Let the chips fall where they may on offense. Let's take a look at our rotation, and this is why we are going to only run 7 guys. Roster is hot garbage, to say the least. And I have 8 scholarships, so I will be able to replace a lot of these guys, and hopefully, like, this year is going to be pretty rough, but because we have 8 scholarships, we'll have a pretty quick turnaround next year, depending on how well I can recruit. So hopefully I can recruit well. And Princeton is in New Jersey, so I get a good recruiting base, so it shouldn't be too hard to bring in some guys that are going to make a difference in year 2. But I'll catch you guys at the end of the season. So here we are, end of the year. We had a surprisingly good year, going 17-13 on the year and 12-2 in conference play, winning a regular season conference championship. But for whatever reason, we didn't get the NCAA tournament bid. Maybe it glitched out. I don't know how that works. But that will go down as a regular season conference championship for us. There was no conference tournament for us, but here's the Final Four. North Carolina winning the national championship. Dominating performance. Just like in real life when this team won in '09, it was technically Kansas that won this year, but they dominated the championship game same way as real life. Here's a look at our player stats on the year. Nothing too gaudy, nothing that really stands out other than we did have a guy get 5 assists a game. Take a look at our percentages real quick. And here's a look at our team stats. Again, nothing that really jumps out. Did average 61 points a game. Lowest I've averaged pretty much ever. Here's a look at the awards on this season. Michael Beasley went ham. I still don't get how they gave them that, but it's going to us. I'm not doing that. Maybe it's because it was our first year in the league, but that's definitely going down this one for us. Did have a second team All Ivy League player. This is our recruiting class on the year. Signed a total of 6 guys, so we have 2 scholarships that'll transfer over to next year, which is fine because we only had 1. So in the end, all works out. We'll take a look at their ratings and stats. It didn't really have a lot of points, so wasn't a lot to scout. So here we are, just to kind of recap the scoreboard. We're on it in year 1 with a grand total of 3 points. Rome wasn't built in a day, got to start somewhere. Also, do want to talk about the plan for this coach in terms of moving jobs. As far as mid-majors go, I only want to take him to a mid-major that's in a city or general area he played in. So he played for the Boston Celtics, Memphis Grizzlies, and also New Orleans. I'll also take Oklahoma as well because he did play college in the state of Oklahoma. So in terms of his Power 5 job, he's kind of a guy, it kind of beats. He marches to the beat of his own drum a bit. So I want to either go to Oklahoma State, which is where he played, or their rival. If I can't get one of those, I want to take on one of the lower rung Power 6 schools. So like Seton Hall is always bad in these sims, so Seton Hall. Georgia's always bad, Virginia's always bad. I'd like to take on one of those schools. So that's the plan, and I'll see you guys at the start of the next season. So here we are, beginning of season number 2. Here's our rotation. The recruiting really helped. We have a whole lot better players here now, and we'll go over the freshmen that we picked up. Show you their overall rankings. And for everybody that's here on the team now, I will be working on their defense because this is a defensive legacy build. So I'm going to, like everybody on the roster, the game sets you 2 training focuses. You can do general if you just leave it alone, or you can pick something specifically. So what I'm going to pick for everybody is defense for at least the first attribute. So some will get 2. And I think, so here's another, well, he's a walk-on. I think I got 2 red-shirted. There's one, and here's the other. No, here's the other. Yeah. Well, no, he's a walk-on too. Oh, here he is. No, I don't know where he is. Must not have got that many. But all right, I'll catch you guys at the end of the season. I did not change the sliders any because we still have the same amount of depth, so I'm playing it the same. So I'll see you guys in the season. So here we are to end the season, and boy, was it a bad one. 8-20 on the year, 4-10 in conference play. If we repeat that, we may not be here long. Also, it looks like Yale got the NCAA bid this year. Why? I have no idea. So we did not make the tournament, but here's a look at this year's Final Four. Arizona taking it home. Here's a look at our individual stats this year. Nobody really stands out except for this freshman right here. Averaged 14 and 8 along with 1.4 blocks. We'll take a look at the percentages. So 3-point shooting was abysmal. We didn't do much better from the field, so I understand that record we had now. And looking at this, the record is even more justified. Next to last in the Ivy League in scoring, only putting up 59.8 points a game. Middle of the pack rebounding, last in assist, despite running the Princeton playbook and focusing so much on defense. Next to last in steals, near the top in blocks, so that's something. We did average the most fouls. Here's a look at this year's awards. Kevin Love doing damage. I still don't understand how Yale got that. It makes 0 sense. So we did get the Conference Freshman of the Year. And he was also first team all-conference. It's nice. And we got the entire all-Ivy freshman team. So even though we went 8-20 this year, hopefully good things to come next season. Speaking of good things to come next season, let's look at our recruiting class. So we did take one junior college guy, and he's a 5-star point guard. So hopefully that'll pay dividends. We also had 3 3-star guys. So we'll take a look at everybody's ratings and stats in the ABL. We had the number 112 recruit, 122 recruit, and 230 recruit. 2 power forwards. I did want to play 2 traditional bigs. It worked out well the first season. Not so well this season. So we'll see what these guys look like coming in, and that'll determine where we go with that. So here's their stats and ratings. Then this junior college guy, he doesn't get stats because he's junior college. He didn't play in ABL. And so here we are to recap the season, and we have our legacy score still 1 because we did not do good, so it did not change. So here we are, start of season 3, much improved roster. Should be the best roster in the Ivy League. We should coast to a very good record this year. I did change the coaching slider, so we'll take a look at that after we take a look at our recruits. So this is the junior college guy that we brung in. Here's a freshman. Then we had 2 more freshmen. They were both power forwards. Moved one of them to small forward. So even though the other one will be starting at power forward, we'll be sacrificing the size of center there. We'll move, I'll show you him in a second, but we'll move him to power forward. Back to center, so he'll be our backup center. So we have a backup big. And now we have a power forward playing small forward. So we still have a bunch of size. He's still versatile enough to play defense. We switched this guy from from power forward back to center. So he'll be our backup big. All right, so I'll see you guys hold on. I did make some changes to the coaching sliders. So this is pretty much what playing all out would be for us. So that's really what I got it at. And our bench depth moved it up to 9. All right, so I'll see you guys to end the season. Here we are once again, end of the season. Did better for season 3, 17-13 on the year, 7-7 in conference play. Really underachieved. Check this out, 81 overall. Everybody else is really not on our level, but hey, it happens sometimes. Maybe it's just because that's just how defensive builds work, but we're gonna find out. Next, we'll go to the NCAA tournament. So here's Billy Donovan winning number 3 for Florida. Final 4 of Florida, Wisconsin, Tennessee, California. Here's our stats on the year. Games took a little step back. That's because we're spreading the ball around a little bit more. Take a look at the percentages real quick. Something to point out here that's really neat. We had 4 players get at least 5 rebounds a game. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Let's take a look at these percentages though. So still not shooting the ball well at all. Did a little bit better team stats wise. Led the Ivy League in rebounding. Whole lot better in points per game. Middle of the pack in assists. Led the league in steals and blocks. We did have the most turnovers, which is very wild considering we're playing at such a slow pace. Here are the awards on the year. Luke Herring-Goody went crazy. So we got freshman of the year once again. Gaines, 2-time first team all conference player. And we had 2 guys first team all freshmen. Here's our signings on the year. Really good recruiting class for Princeton. Last year's recruiting class was actually a top 20 recruiting class, so we got the coaching point for that. Take a look at these guys' ratings and stats. Oh, A- potential, dope. He'll be really good really soon. And we're not making any progress up the charts here. We're still stuck at number 3. Catch you guys starting the next season. Hopefully we can make some progress next year, as we will by far have the best team in the Ivy League. Hey guys, I forgot to record the preseason shot, so I'll just show you really what we ended up with as far as rotations go. This is it, and I'll show you what our freshmen look like. Then we'll go on into the end of the season. We went 16-11 on the year, 10-4 in conference play. So we did win another regular season conference championship. Although for whatever reason we don't get to play in the NCAA tournament. Speaking of the NCAA tournament, here's your Final Four. A Big East matchup in the national championship with Syracuse taking down Villanova. Here are our player stats on the year. So we're a really good rebounding team, but I don't know. Just don't win enough games. Take a look at these percentages. We shot the ball a little better. And here are our our team stats on the year. Maybe they let Penn go because they averaged the most points per game, but we averaged the most rebounds. Did a lot better in terms of turnovers. Led the league in blocks again. Here's a look at this season's awards. recruits we signed this year. Lackluster compared to what we've been getting, but hey, it is what it is. And here are our recap. We did win another regular season conference championship. That's all we really had the opportunity to do. So we've doubled our points. We're up to 6 from 3. Hopefully we can add some more onto this very soon. All right, so to start the season, we are going to make some coaching changes. I want to go with I just want to go straight man. We're just going straight man. And we're going from a full court trap to a full court press always. We're going 9 deep right now. We'll be 7 by the time we get to Ivy League play. And now we'll take a look at our rotation. This is what it's looking like right now. Give you a look at the freshmen. So this was power forward we took in. Pretty good player. So another one we took in. I guess the last one got red-shirted, as he won't really no good. 57 overall. But I'll see you guys at the end of the year. Expected really big season. Like, we should go, like, this should be our 20-win season. At minimum, this should be our 20-win season. Anything else is going to be a great disappointment. But I'll catch you guys at the end of the season. So here we are, end of the year. Here's the conference standings. We actually achieved this year. We went 26-4 on the season, 11-3 in conference play. So we were unable to add another conference championship. But overall, solid year. We did not make the NCAA tournament, but we did make the NIT tournament. Here's those box scores. You can check them out. In games, that guy we recruited who was a senior, he did end up entering the draft. He didn't get drafted, but he got hurt to end the year, so that's kind of why. I mean, like, because we were good enough to beat TCU, but without him, we weren't. Then here's this year's Final Four, another repeat of Big East teams in the final, along with the third Big East team, Villanova, being in the Final Four. They lost to Syracuse, so a rematch from the national championship game last year in this year's Final Four. That's pretty neat. Here's a look at this year's stats for our players. Decent overall. Take a look at our percentages. I mean, I guess we're about the same in terms of shooting, just not really shooting the ball well. We finally led the conference in scoring, as well as rebounds and assists this year. Third in steals, tied for second in steals. Led the league in blocks, and wow, we actually had the least amount of turnovers. About time. So overall, good year for us. Good year. If we'd have been a bigger school, like if we weren't in the Ivy League, we'd have made the tournament. So good year. Here are the awards on the season. We'll give those a gander. So Florida dominating the Player of the Years with FIU and Florida State. And I guess this is as good as time as any to tell you Tony Allen has accepted the job at Northeastern. So we won the Conference Coach of the Year, but because we left, see it says years in A right there, and we're at Northeastern. It's located in Boston, Massachusetts. So I said for his mid-major, we wanted him to go somewhere he played professionally, and that's going to be Boston. So we made it. We'll be up the street from Harvard, who was this year's conference champion. We had 2 first-team all-conference players, 2 second-team all-conference players. So here are the guys we were able to recruit at Princeton. Princeton's going to be well off for the next couple years. They'll probably actually make the tournament now that I'm not there. But these guys were like, this is the number 33 overall player going to Princeton. That's pretty good. And then here's the number 177 player going to Princeton. I guess we lost all our data on them. But let's look at who Northeastern recruited without us. I didn't get to do any recruiting. They'd already eaten up the recruiting. So they got a 3-star junior college player. Yikes. So we're going to have to start rebuilding fast. So here we are to end out the year. Score didn't move any. But now that we're at Northeastern, bigger school, we'll be able to recruit better, make more tournaments. The score will start to grow. So I look forward to that. Catch you guys at the beginning of the next season. Here we are to start the season. This is what the rotation looks like. Not really expecting a lot. Year one, school wasn't good. I think they won like 9 games before me. So just building. Hopefully we'll get some good recruits. So here we are, year one in the books at Northeastern in Boston, Massachusetts. We went 23-8 on the year, 11-7 in conference play, and that is the Colonial Conference, for about a middle of the pack finish. So overall, a solid first year, especially for a team that was not that good. Then we have the conference tournament. We did have to play in the preliminary round, so this is what our box score looks like. We went to play in the first round. We went to play in the semifinal. And then we have some highlights from the championship game that we'll be playing in. Hope you guys enjoy. A successful year one. We took down George Mason in the conference championship tournament game. It's good. I mean, it's the first chance we got to play in one. So it's the first chance you guys are getting to see some game footage. It's pretty cool. And a good way to end year one at Northeastern. So now we also have our first appearance in the NCAA tournament. we would lose to Washington. We were kind of trading blows with them in the first half, only down by 5 points, but the game ends with us losing by 16. Take a look at the Final Four. So, wow, Syracuse is really dominant in this sim. Let's see who their coach is, because they're doing really good. But Final Four, Syracuse, Kansas, UNLV, St. Joseph's. Let's see who Syracuse's coaches is. So I don't think Jim Boeheim is here anymore. So Chase Boyden, whoever that may be, he's doing the thing. So there you go. Here's a look at our players' stats on the year. Durovic, who's from Boston, Massachusetts, so hometown guy, led the team in scoring with 17. We'll take a look at our percentages. So shooting the ball a little bit better than at Princeton. Here are our team stats in the Colonial Conference. It's a real middle of the pack kind of year for us. Did the best in terms of turnovers, however. So the awards are kind of glitching out on me, but here's what we have as far as recruits go. So 3 top 100 guys, not too shabby. Take a look at ratings and stats. So the previous guy didn't have any stats. And this guy's a world recruit, so he's not going to have any stats or any ratings, really. So I'll see you guys hold on, we got to do the recap. And so here we are on the year. Actually, hold on. Zoom this out a little bit. So here we are on the year. Overall, good. We were able to add a conference championship as well as add an NCAA tournament bid. So now we're up to 10 points. So you guys will start the next season. So we're still running the same sliders from last year. Here's our rotation. We'll have 9 guys playing to start the year once we get to conference tournament time, or maybe even middle of conference play. We'll get to like 7. Let's take a look at the freshmen. We got quite a few of them starting, so it's going to be a big hit on our team unity. Should have redshirted him. I'll do it next year. I think one of them did. Well, none of them got redshirted. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to redshirt the guy from Australia. But there we go. See you guys at the end of the year. All right, here we are to end season number 7. Losing record in conference play, but we had a bunch of freshmen, so it's to be expected. 17-4 on the year. We did end up performing quite admirably in the conference tournament. Take a look at those box scores. So this is the preliminary round. Then we have the first round, and we would finally bow out in the semifinal to Delaware, that was Delaware's 3rd time beating us this year. And as we did not make the NCAA tournament, here's the Final Four. Arizona taking it home after beating Kansas State and Providence. Texas also made the Final Four. Here are our player stats on the year. Take a look at those percentages. So we're just really not shooting the ball well. It's kind of interesting because whenever we were putting up more attempts in other simulations, it just seems like we were getting better shooting percentages. You would kind of expect it to be the opposite, that with a smaller sample size, we'd be making more shots, but maybe that just speaks to the caliber of player I've got. Whenever I get to the Power 5 level and I'm really recruiting the diaper dandies, it'll be more comparable. And here are our team stats on the year. And it really stands out, middle of the pack all the way around. Yeah, pretty much middle of the pack all the way around. Then we did also get some awards, which you guys will see on a national level. We got our first All-American. I got the recruiting point for that. But the players, I think they're the All-American freshman team. Yes, it is. It's our center. Thinking I'm going to go back to the two traditional bigs and who'll be playing power forward next year. And the guy that's playing power forward, I'll move him to small forward. We'll have to see. Depends on what guys are looking like coming in next year. So we did get the conference freshman of the year and 2 first-team all-freshman players. Here's a look at our recruiting class. Not too shabby. Number 38 point guard. He's going to come in and hopefully be major for us, do big things. Here's his ratings. We'll also take a look at his stats. Wow, skills off the charts, defense off the charts. It's what we like to see. It's what we like to see. Didn't look at his stats. All right, here we go. And what was his potential to be? So I'm thinking this guy will be starting alongside Powers. Could be this guy. A potential, love to see it. We got one more. He didn't play. We did also get our state's Mr. Basketball. And who was that? This is the first time we got it. Right here. Top player, number 33 overall. 38 overall from Quincy, Massachusetts. And just to recap with our score, nothing moved. We're still at 10. Hopefully we get on the board. So here we are, start of year number 8. Here are our rotations, and we did get in some pretty good freshmen, so we'll go ahead and take a look at them. This is the guy who was our Mr. Basketball. Then he was a center, but like I said, I'm going to run 2 traditional bigs. So he'll be running alongside Powers, and I converted him to a power forward. 2-6-9 centers on the court at the same time. And then this guy was a power forward last year, so we should be out rebounding everybody. We should be eating on the glass. There's another freshman, 7'1". And what else we got? And another one right here. He was originally a power forward. And last one. Alright, so I'll see you guys to end the season. So here we are to end the season. 19-12 on the year, 11-7 in conference play. So we were a very young team and we struggled in the regular season, but by the time we got to the conference tournament, we kind of had it figured out. Here's what our box scores look like in the first round and the semifinal. And we would go on to play Townsend in the conference championship game. Here go some highlights. and we beat them boys like a drum. Another NCAA tournament bid for Tony Allen. Then we proceeded to get beat by like a drum by Providence, who's been really good in this simulation. And here's a look at our Final Four. Kansas and Duke, with Duke pulling it out in 2015, so history repeats itself. Here's a look at our individual stats on the year. Nobody's really led the way for us scoring except for 1 year. I think the first year we got here, we had a center average 17 points. Outside of that, it's been a lot of team ball. One thing that sticks out here, our freshman, wow, averaged 5.6 assists a game. If this guy for his entire career can do that, based on how much he wins, and he was a freshman of the year, freshman all conference, based on how much he wins, he may be a candidate for our Hall of Fame. I really like that out of him. Pause. So let's look at our percentages real quick. So shot the ball a little bit better. Here's a look at our team stats. Kind of near the top in points. Didn't rebound as well as I thought. I mean, because we got a lot of size. But maybe that's to come. Up there in steals and blocks, really. Here are the awards for the year. Hate to see a Tar Heel getting Player of the Year, but hey, what can you do? Oh, and Coach K got this ring too. That's pretty cool. Wow. Oh, I thought it was Davidson, not Dagan. Right, Maddox also got freshman all conference. Here's a look at our signings on the year. Both of these guys are going to be big pickups because we're losing our starting shooting guard. And I kind of wanted to keep our backup point guard where he was. So I'm going to just talk about this. We'll look at stats and ratings. Kind of wanted to keep our backup point guard where he was, just so we'd have a backup point guard. But I also wanted to add some guards with some size this offseason so that we could replace that shooting guard that's leaving. And we will be able to do that, as you can see here. Hopefully it's this guy. Hopefully his overall is high enough. He looks like a good player if you go off his stats from New York, Brooklyn in the house. And now we are up to 14. So we only got 100 more points to go and we'll replace Billy Donovan on the board. So here we are once again to start the season. Let me adjust this real quick. This is what our rotation looks like. We're going 9 deep to start, and I'll show you our freshmen. We got 2. They're right here, both 76 overalls. They'll kind of be our guards carrying us into the future. This guy right here, Bender, I've got to get him better at shooting threes, though, and off the dribble as well. Just in order for him to be a 2 guard in our system, we need 3-point shooting. We just need it. So here we are to end the season, 16-2 in conference play with the regular season conference championship, 25-4 overall. We finally win the conference regular season championship in the Colonial, just to go out in the first round to William and Mary. We would get a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And it's sad, really, because VCU upset Providence. We beat them twice in the regular season. Probably would have beat them again, but for whatever reason, we're 90 overall and lost to South Utah in the first round. So we could have got our first Sweet 16 appearance against NC State, but it wasn't in the books. Here are our player stats on the year. Had some guys stepping up. Let's see. Didn't have anybody. Well, May was second team all conference this year. Outside of that, didn't have anybody really win anything. We'll take a look at those percentages, see if we shot the ball any better this year. And we did. It wasn't considerably better, but it's marginal. And here are our team stats on the year. Again, just not rebounding as well as I would expect, just with how much size we have. Just expected to be more. But we are leading the league in blocks, so this defensive build does help you do that. We're doing the best in terms of turnovers as well. Here are this season's awards. Providence just still kicking butt, man. It's crazy. And as you can see, we didn't get the Conference Coach of the Year despite how we dominated. Oh, that got dominated. So we are now up to 18 points. You guys see I finally changed our colors from Princeton colors, but I did not change them to the Northeastern colors. The reason being, we took a new job. No, it's not Duke. So we won't be going to a Power 5 conference team. So here's what happened. Tony Allen, grindfather, most known for that moniker for his time at Memphis, and we got an offer from the Memphis Tigers. So here we go. Just super fitting. Couldn't pass up the opportunity. So here we are. Hopefully I'll be able to win championships here with that whole Grind City moniker. This is going to be awesome. All right, but we'll get into the roster next season for Memphis. Didn't do any recruits for Northeastern because I didn't have any recruits. So that team's going to be really good next year. They return every single player. So they're going to be really good next year and probably the year after. I will follow those players next year just because I recruited them to see what they win and see who makes it into the college 2K Hall of Fame. So here we are, start season number 10, our first season at Memphis. Grind City is back. Here's what our rotations look like to start season 1. We need to get a whole lot of talent in here pretty fast. So here we are, end of the first season at Memphis. As you can tell, we went 28-6 on the year, 12-4 in conference play. So that's another regular season conference championship in the books. With the overall number 1 seed in Conference USA, we would go on to cruise through the first 2 rounds. And now we will play Houston in the conference championship game. Check out some highlights there. It's a parade in my city, yeah. We hanging banners in Memphis. Something only Ja Morant could hope to do at this point. So far, so good. Let's take a look at how we fare in the NCAA tournament. And not good at all. We were 2 wins away from a 30-win season. That would have also gotten us our first appearance in Sweet 16, so we got a point off that. But is what it is. Who would go on to win it all? Georgia Tech would beat Alabama by almost 20 points. Also, we had Kansas and Stanford in the Final Four. And here's what our stats look like on the year. I'm glad we got so many of these guys coming back. So, like, Johnson is gone after a really good year, his first team all conference. But Batty, 15-9, second team all conference. Looking for even bigger things from him next season. Pauls. So it'll be interesting to see how well they play together. Glad I got a lot of these guys coming back to supplement the recruits I'm bringing in, so we're not so young. Here's a look at the percentages. And even though we're focusing so heavy on defense, playing a low tempo, we average 76 points, so that's pretty good. We're not dominating rebounding the way I would think. So I'm guessing that's coming from where there's fewer possessions, so there's fewer chances for rebounds. That's what I'm assuming. But we are doing as good as I expected in terms of turnovers. Let's see where we rank nationally there. So pretty much along with the best teams in the country. And here's a look at the awards on the year. Oh wow. Oh wow, 19, 5, and 5. That's pretty cool. Oh, Tony out. Getting it done, getting it done. He's a power forward. These are the recruits we're bringing in. 2 world recruits. We'll take a look at their ratings first, or what we have of them. Can't really recruit too much or scout too much on these guys. Then let's take a look at the center we recruited. Here's his ratings. We'll take a look at his stats. Then we were able to get an All-American, but first here's a number 35 overall player from California. Shot pretty good percentage. His rating doesn't really reflect that, but hopefully he'll be able to grow into being a shooter. And here's our All-American. First one we've recruited so far. Elite level athleticism. Overall good player. Running point. So I imagine he'll be our backup next year. And here we are. We're now at a legacy score of 25. And now that we're at Memphis and we're going to stay at Memphis, really what I'm projecting here is that we're going to have a really high score just because we're not in a power conference. So we're going to win a lot of conference championships, which is going to inflate the score. That's why I don't have Mark Few up here, because I want to say Mark Few was like number 5. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's disrespectful because they've won so many conference championships. But we're currently at 25. We'll see you starting next season. Here we are to start season number 11. We'll take a look at our rotation. Here it is. We've really got a big 3 here. Let me actually edit this. Give these guys a little less minutes. I want to give these guys some more time. Just because these are my 3 big freshmen. So we got a big 3 here with Beatty, Washburn, Glover. Then Yeomas, Christie, and Leach are going to be our big 3 with the freshmen. They're going to take us going forward. Let's take a look at their ratings. And we had 2 more guys. I think these 2, yes. These were our foreign players. I think they'll be really good gadget guys for us. Right, and I'll see you guys to end the season. So here we are to end season number 11. 2 at Memphis, Grind City, baby. Second in the regular season conference race. Lost to SMU by 1 game. Here we are in the conference tournament as the 2 seed. Look at these box scores. These are basically home games for us, and we will go on to play SMU, who was the regular season conference champion. We would then go on to be an 8 seed. Boy, the disrespect. But we would beat Arizona State, giving us our first career win in the NCAA tournament. And then we would go on to get mollywopped by Georgetown, who's a 1 seed. Here's a look at our national champion this year, Oklahoma State, joined in the Final Four by Stanford, Alabama, and USC. All right, take a look at our stats this year for our players. So Beatty was able to get a first team all conference. Good on that. And so did Glover. Good deal. Then we had Washburn get second team. Wow, I'm surprised Yeomans didn't win freshman of the year. They must have had somebody out here balling. Somebody must have been hooping out here. Let's take a look at these percentages. Shot the ball pretty well. This may have been the best we've shot the ball so far. So good on that. Here's a look at the team stats. I'm glad we're able to keep these turnovers down. I'm convinced that the reason why we're so low in rebounds is because our style of play being so low, and like our opponents only get so many possessions that we're just not getting rebounding opportunities because of how we play. I wish they had advanced stats in the game so I could look at stuff like that. And then this is the season awards. Oh wow, that's crazy. He went off. That was Grant Nelson on it from North Dakota. Be interesting to see where he ends up transferring to if he does withdraw from the draft. But this will probably be out by the time he makes that decision, unless he waits like till the very end. So we did get Conference Coach of the Year again. We also got our 200th win this season as well. Dang, I don't know. My guy should have maybe got Freshman of the Year over him. I think my guy did a little better. Let's see. So this is their guy who won it. Oh, my guy ain't even up here. Wow, okay. They just robbed my guy. Well, never mind. He did average 5.3. Here's a look at this year's recruiting class. I think we got some good guys coming in. We'll take a look at their stats and their ratings. It's like that. We are getting defensive players to fit the system. I think it's going to end up paying big dividends. So we got two guys that didn't even bother to play in the ABL this summer, and kind of from all over the place, Midwest, West, South. And now we are up to a legacy score of 29. We were able to add one conference tournament championship and an NCAA tournament bid. And here are our rotations to start the year. I believe one freshman starting. Yeah, one. Here he goes. So 6'9", but does have all the hallmarks. True rim protector. Happy about that. Then I think McIntyre's one. And Kramer Farmer. I don't know why I want to call him Kramer. You know, we got to work on his defense and his rebounding. And there was one more. Falls, yeah. Right here, just red shirted him. He's getting a crash course in defense for his off year. So this year we might not do so good. A lot of youth. We're starting we got this Linderman starting, but he's not really good. I mean, he's the highest overall too, so a growing pains year is to be expected. Hopefully we get 20 wins and compete for an NCAA tournament bid. I'll check you guys to end the year. Here we are at the end of season number 12, and we definitely got those growing pains I was talking about. Finished 21-10 on the year, 10-6 in conference play, which tied us for third. We would get a first round exit handed to us by SMU, the team we beat last year in the conference tournament. Then we would go on to play in the NIT. We beat South Carolina in the opening game. Then we would fall to Iowa State in the next round. And we did not make the tournament, but here's how the Final Four looked in Detroit Ford Field. Oregon brings it home to Phil Knight. And here are our stats on the year. Yeoman really stepped up, went from 8 last year to 15 this year. Big improvement. I think he was second team all conference, and hopefully he gets even better next year. Christie stepped up as well, so my sophomores, they filled the void. Good on that. This guy, he'll be gone next year, and I think I'm gonna put one of these guys, Dai or Gaku, there, or we'll see. We'll see. It depends on what the incoming class looks like, because I could maybe move Christie back to 2 guard, so it'll depend. Let's take a look at the percentages. Also, before we do that, shout out to the freshman Schwartz. Averaged 2.1 blocks as a freshman. And we shot the ball well this year. We shot it well. Here's the team stats. Really nothing big at all. Other than we tied for first in the conference with blocks. Turnovers up massively, but hey, that's what happens when you have inexperience. Here are our awards on the year. 5th year senior at Oklahoma. Nothing but a glitch, probably. So Schwartz did make the freshman All-American team. Schwartz was also the conference freshman of the year. Okay, so he's really he's building the resume. Yeomans was second team all conference. Schwartz was, of course, freshman all conference. Here are our signings on the year. Kind of disappointed because I had some All-Americans that I started with and just couldn't hold on to them. One, I guess he's a freshman. He's going to be at LSU. Averaged like 18 as a center in the ABL, so that sucks. and our legacy score remains unchanged. On to the next season. Here we go. This is our rotation to start the year. Just the outlook, expecting to take a step forward, compete for conference championships, and definitely make the NCAA tournament. Let's take a look at the freshmen. So here's threes. Here's the first one. Second. Then we had one more right here. Alright, I'll see you guys to end the year. Here we are, the beginning of season number 13, 26-11 on the year, 11-5 in conference play, finishing third in the league. In the conference tournament, we would take out SMU in the first round, then we would go on to the second round to defeat Houston. So with Houston being eliminated, the final would consist of Memphis and Tulsa, the two best teams in the league in terms of rating. So let's see how that goes. Hey, tough loss. Can't win them all. Be back next year. So we would again make the NIT, where we would win pretty comfortably in round 1. Round 2, we would lose to Ole Miss by 2. Here's a look at this year's Final Four. I believe a rematch from last year, St. Joe's and UCLA. With UCLA getting the win, Notre Dame and Temple also a part of this Final Four. Here are our player stats on the year. So it'll kind of go into why the season went the way it went. Let me go over here to games played real quick. So you see Schwartz, he missed a huge chunk of the season. Dye did as well, and it was like they missed these games whenever it was critical junctures. Like one of them was gone at every point, I think from a week before conference play started. So which is never healthy, hurt the record. But here's our stats. We'll take a look at the percentages. Still shooting the ball pretty good. And here are our team stats on the year. Nothing that really stands out too much. And here's a look at this year's awards. See if we brought home any hardware. So we did get 2 second team all conference selections. Yeoman's pretty good career so far. So he'll be a senior just from what I've watched him play in the games. Really like his game. Hope he's able to, I don't know. He's kind of guy I'd like to make that Hall of Fame, but I just don't think he's going to have the awards. It's just not going to happen. We had no recruits this year, but here we are. Legacy score has not changed. Now let's go to season 14. Here we are to start season number 14. Hopefully we get back into the tournament. It's been a minute, but these are just the rotations that we will be going with. No new freshmen to introduce, so let's get the season going. Here we are in year 14, and in a year where the Conference USA was particularly competitive, getting 3 bids into the tournament. We dominated, going 15-1 to win the regular season conference championship. And we would do all that just to go out sad to UAB in the first round of the conference tournament. We did finally have some tournament success though, making it to our first Sweet 16, first blanking South Carolina State, and then routing Santa Clara as well. Christie had a 25-7-7 game. Insane. Then we'd lose to Notre Dame in the Sweet 16. Schwartz with a epic defensive performance, 4 blocks there by the big guy, Paul. And here are our player stats. Really just a lot of what we've been seeing for the past 4 years. So I like these guys, but it's good to get now. I think there was a ceiling on their potential, and we reached that ceiling. Like, I think we got everything we could out of this season. And here are our team stats. Turnover still low. Here are this year's awards. So Schwartz yet to win a DPOY. Maybe he's just not that guy right now. He will have a chance next year. So we got no all-conference players. And so before I said those guys, they kind of had a ceiling, the guys that we're just getting rid of now that are seniors. We truly only had, we had a very limited ceiling because that was kind of it was my first class and it wasn't a very good one. This one's a very good one, so they have a much higher ceiling. I think some of these guys will start right away. And hey, ceiling is the roof, baby. And we have now increased our legacy score to 35, adding a regular season conference championship, NCAA tournament bid, and a Sweet 16 appearance. So you guys start season number 15. We're halfway there. As you start season 15, this is what our rotations are looking like. I'll take a look at all of these new freshmen. So we have 2 that will be starting. It's the first. And here's the second. He was recruited as a power forward, but I moved him to the 3, and he's starting. That's nice. Schwartz, I'm really looking forward to a big year from him. Letting him take more shots. Hopefully he gets a defensive player of the year. Here's our other All-American. He's a scorer. I have to work on his defense, but he's a scorer. Here's the cat from Beaumont. And then we redshirted to Northern, who was a power forward, and then Rothbard, who was a small forward. I think I missed one. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. No, we got them all. All right, so expecting another conference banner and a tournament bid. So let's get it. See you guys at the end of season. Here we are, the end of season once again. 21-13 on the year. 8-8 in conference play. We would win against UAB in the preliminary round of the conference tournament, but then we'd lose to Tulsa in the first round. Of course, we were NIT bound, so barely beat Sam Houston State. Then we lost to Virginia, who we also lost to in the regular season. And here's your final 4. Vandy taking it home. Here are our player stats on the year. Schwartz, he played alright, not what I expected. Take a look at our percentages. We shot the ball fairly decent. And we're pretty much just middle of the pack in terms of team stats. But we are near the top in blocks. Here go the awards on the year. I don't think we got anything again. Houston finally had a good year, 31-6. So McIntyre was first team all conference this year. We did have a all freshman player as well. So I'll see you guys at the what's next recruits. And here are our signings on the year. Pretty good group. Is what it looks like. Here's his ratings. Gotta love that potential. Did not play. Bellers played though. Then we just needed to get another big, kind of round out the roster. I hate every season that passes by and we don't change the legacy score, but is what it is. See you guys to start season 16. So here we are to start season 16. Here's a look at our rotation. We'll take a look at the freshmen we brought in. There's a total of 3. So here's one. He was the #1 overall player. Then we brought in this guy, red shirt. There was one more, power forward, I believe. Yes, right here. Alright, I'll see you guys to get the season underway. We'll catch you at the end. Here we are to end another season. 27-12 on the year. 11-5 in conference play, putting us at second in the conference for the regular season. In the conference tournament, we would perform pretty comfortably in the first round as well as the second. We'll go on to play Houston. What can I say? The better team won. Shiloh and Black Grove both going off before us. So now we've got another banner. It's a parade in my city, yeah. Another banner in Memphis. Now we'll move on to the NCAA tournament. We got a 10 seed, which I thought was fair. And we played Oregon, the 7th seed in the first round. Ran them off the court pretty much. And now we go on to play Dayton, and we pretty much get ran off the court. Here's a look at the player stats for the year. Black Grove 2.2 blocks a game, pretty impressive. Take a look at those percentages. Oh, we shot the ball pretty well. And nothing we really haven't been seeing here, so good on that. And nothing we really haven't been seeing here, so good on that. And here are this season's awards. So another Conference Coach of the Year award for us. Bishop and Swartz make second team all conference. And our freshman Byfield, #1 recruit in the nation, makes all conference freshman, as well as Bellers, who was also a pretty highly touted recruit. My diaper dandies showing out. Speaking of diaper dandies, this is what we're bringing in next season. Really like what I'm seeing from both of them. This guy right here, Chicago point guard. We need to be able to recruit Chicago. If I go with a 3-guard lineup, he'd be a really good player to have in that. And here's the other player. And now just to recap, we did add some more points, so now we're at 39. Still a long ways to go. Hopefully we don't cheese it up with conference titles to get there, Mark Few style. Starting out a new season, we are pretty deep, so I decided to max out the sliders, and we're pretty much going to be going all out. Now we'll take a look at the rotations. We're also going 10 deep. This is what we're going to go with for the majority of the year. Probably tightens down to about 8 by the time we hit conference play. And then once we get to the tournament, we'll see. Here we are to end yet another season. We almost got a 30-win season, going 29-7 on the year, 12-4 in conference play. We would pretty much skate through the first 2 rounds of the conference tournament, advancing to the championship game against Houston. So enjoy the footage. And it's a parade in my city. Yeah, we're getting another banner. So we'll be hanging both the regular season conference championship and the tournament conference championship banners this season. We actually had a pretty good tournament. We would squeak by Virginia, double-digit lead in the first round. Pretty much same thing with Texas A&M in the second round. Then we would beat Georgetown by 2 points in the Sweet 16 game, and going into the Elite 8 game against Duke, we were the 6th seed playing against the 1, and we actually were able to eke out the win, beating them 76-71. So now we'll go on to play Alabama in the Final Four. Take a look at the footage. Well, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day, and we're really bringing everybody here back. That's a starter, except Bishop, which is fine because I got Byfield that can take his spot. So we'll be in good hands for the next year. And here's a look at our stats on the season for our individuals. Let's also take a look at our percentages. And, go back. So shot the ball pretty well. Now, we actually led the conference in points per game, which if you look at the tempo we played with, that's really amazing. Also led the conference in steals. So we're doing what we're setting out to do. And here are this season's awards. So another Conference Coach of the Year award for me. Those are 2 guys on the first team. We did have Singleton on the second team. Here are the recruits we will be bringing in. Really happy to get this center. We got to get back to recruiting size. So one good thing about this season was we did what we did, and we were kind of playing smaller ball. We had power forwards, and but they were power forwards. We didn't have the centers, whereas previous rotations we had that were successful at Princeton, we'd run 2 centers at power forward and center, and then a slightly undersized power forward at the small forward position. So that's what we want to get back to, but this season it did what it needed to do, I guess. So take a look at these guys' ratings and stats. And as we wrap up this season, our legacy score is now up to 55. So a couple more runs and we'll place on the scoreboard. So let's get that started with season number 18 in Memphis. So here we are, the start of season number 18, using the same sliders from last season. So we'll take a look at our 2 freshmen. And the other, he got a red shirt. All right, and then just expectations for the season. Well, we're preseason number 2, so I'd like another trip back to the Final Four. We should hang conference banners, like banners, not 1, but 2. Okay, and I'll check you guys out at the end of season 18. So here we are once again, the end of another season. This time is season number 18. We went 36-2 on the year, 16-0 in conference play. So that means that's another regular season conference championship. So another parade in the city. Yeah. Let's take a look at how we fared in the conference tournament. And in the conference tournament, we would pretty much sleepwalk through the first 2 rounds, dismantling both Rice and Southern Miss, where we would take on Tulsa. And we were able to get a big win over Tulsa after being down 1 in the first half. Byfield, he went off 24-5. Good day on him. He would go on to be the #1 overall seed in the tournament, pretty much dog walking them through the first 2 rounds. Then we get Sweet 16 versus Kansas, and we are able to win by a total of 9 points. Then we would get Tulsa, a 4th match against Tulsa. We beat these guys 4 times in the same year. And a 1-position game in the Elite 8, the Carrier Dome, to see who goes to the Final 4. And they'll play Texas A&M. All right, here we are. It's the box score. Byfield played awesome, 21-5. Shiloh played good as well. It's truly a parade in the city. We were able to win our first national championship. Hopefully there will be more to come. Here's a look at the box score. It's a parade in the city, yeah. Here's what our player stats look like on the year. Really impressive, because once you round up Shiloh, that means we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys average double figures. It's pretty impressive. Really just about everybody averaged 3 rebounds, so we were playing some really good ball. Take a look at the percentages. We shot the ball pretty well. Yeah, we played some good ball this year. I mean, you look at the record and tell. Now here's our team stats, and it's kind of absurd that we averaged 86 points a game playing at the pace we played at. That means the team must have been super efficient. Like, what's our efficiency grades? 2 in the nation on offense, 38 in defense. It's ridiculous. Like, we're putting up 85 points a game and our opponents are averaging like 65. It's insane. Here's a look at the awards for the year. Looks good for us to be holding up the national championship, and I got the Coach of the Year award. So no All-Americans for us. Let's see if we got any All-Conference awards. Of course, Conference Champion and Coach of the Year. All right, Byfield is first team. And Northern off the bench made first team all conference. Wow, that is pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Schwartz, good on him. Here are our recruits on the year. Not as star-studded as it's been being, but I like the talent that we're getting as far as them fitting that defensive grit and grind mold that we're trying to build. These guys are all pretty good on defense. So far, nobody's played in the ABL, so here we get one. This guy, I'm gonna have to teach, like, averaging 4 rebounds and 0.8 blocks. That's not good. He does have some potential though. Yeah, that's right. We got 2 centers. This guy, I'm definitely going to have to get his defense right. He can rebound. And then just to recap the year, we ran the gauntlet. We were really able to get a check in the column of each one of these columns here. So now we're up to 78. We also have an induction to the iMaynor College Hoops 2K8 Hall of Fame. That would be Stetson Schwartz. from Bloomington, Indiana, shooting guard. Left Memphis University as a senior. 6'3", 196 pounds. Former McDonald's All-American and Mr. Basketball for the state of Indiana. Ranked number 3 overall in the country and number 2 for his position. He wore number 10. His final overall was a 94. He went to 3 NCAA tournaments, advancing to 2 Final Fours and winning 1 national championship for the university. He's 2-time regular season conference champion, as well as a 3 times tournament conference champion. He also was an all-conference USC performer, coming in on the first team once and the second team twice. He has a final legacy score, with that being said, of 48. For his career, he averaged 12.9 points a game with a total of 1,767. 4.2 rebounds for a total of 575, 2.2 assists for a total of 304, 1.0 steals for a total of 143, 0.6 blocks for a total of 89. He shot 41% from the field, 35 from 3, and 70 from the free throw stripe. Averaged 28.6 minutes a game for a total of 3,925, coming in at the second highest in the Hall of Fame so far. And he started 137 out of the 137 games he played. Give it up for the All-American. Here we are to begin season 19, keeping our coaching sliders the same. So here's what the starting lineup's looking like. Northern, he made first team all-conference as a 6th man. So I said, let's just go ahead and insert him into the starting lineup. Pause. Along with Rothbart. So Rothbart's 6'11", playing at 2. Northern is 6'9", playing at 3. Dornkemp is 6'9", playing at 4. So we should have excellent rebounding. But Bellers is 6'7", playing at 5. So it's really going to be a group effort offensively, with Northern leading the way, but we should be out rebounding and defending everybody we play. All right, so expecting a lot of what we had last year. Maybe not quite a Final Four run, but after getting that big win, we were able to lock up the regular season conference championship. So we got that in the bag, 38-2 on the year. Let's see how we fare in the conference tournament. First round of the conference tournament, we would beat UCF by double digits, then blank Southern Miss. Northern having a big time comeback game. This is only his second game back from injury, and he goes 31-8, 3 steals. We'll go on to play Houston in a rematch of the regular season conference championship for the conference tournament championship. Check out those highlights. It's even sweeter second time around. Beat these guys. We blanked them. This time we were healthy. Northern didn't play the first game. So it's good to see with or without them we were able to handle Houston. We go on to be the number 1 seed in the South region. I thought we should have been number 1 overall, but whatever. Big time game here for Mendez, and we would lose to Florida by 1 point. Northern in his last game going for 29-8. Now we'll take a look at our stats for the year. Some guys played really good. Mendez, after a strong showing at point, will be coming back next year. Love to see it. Let's take a look at our percentages. So shot the ball very effectively. Wow, very effective shooting the ball this year. Hey, you like to see it. Here are our team stats on the year. We were able to average 83 points, leading the conference. Also led the conference in assists, steals, blocks. We were second in turnovers, so just really good all the way around. Here are the awards for the year. So if it's any consolation, the team we ended up losing to was the eventual national champion. So Northern was a second team All-American. So I'll definitely have to check and see where this puts him in line for our Hall of Fame, because dude had some showings and he's got some awards now, so we'll have to see. Oh wow, we had 4 first team conference. Wow, that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Here are our recruits on the year. It didn't really go the way we planned it. There were supposed to be a couple All-Americans here, but we didn't get it. Instead, we did get 2 guards and 2 forwards. Mulligan will probably end up being a small forward. Take a look at their stats and their ratings. And now we do also have our recap. So now we're at 8 conference championships, both regular season and tournament, 2 30-win seasons, 10 NCAA tournament bids, 4 Sweet 16 appearances, 2 Elite 8 and Final 4 appearances, and 1 national championship, putting us at a score of 89. We'll also go over our candidate for the Hall of Fame. So Jeremiah Northern from Memphis, Tennessee, went on to play for the Memphis Tigers, where he would wear number 12. He was a sophomore. He was a small forward who was recruited as a power forward, the number 4 power forward in the country, number 41 overall. No McDonald's All-American or Mr. Basketball for him. He stood at 6'9", 237 pounds, and left Memphis University as a red shirt senior. So he is our first and only red shirt member to be inducted. He played in 4 NCAA tournaments, 3 Sweet 16s, 2 Final Fours, 2 Elite 8s, and won 1 national championship. He won 3 regular season conference championships as well as 4 conference tournament championships. He would go on to be a second team All-American in his final year at the college, as well as first team All-Conference USA. And the year before, he was also all first team Conference USA, but he did this as a 6th man. So he was first team All-Conference as a 6th man. His stats, we got glitched out, so can't really share those. So I'll just say what his senior year stats were. He averaged 18 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, and a block. 29 minutes a game, total 552 points, 163 rebounds, 35 assists, 52 steals, 17 blocks. And this was all during a very injury-plagued season. He missed a stretch of 30 games. He missed a stretch of 30 days twice in the season. One right before the conference tournament. So his first game back was actually in the conference tournament. On the year, he shot 44% from the field, 26% from 3, and 76% from the free throw line. He played in 30 games, started in 30 this year, and he finishes with a final legacy score of 59. So give it up to the kid. See you guys to start season number 20. Here we are, the start of season number 20. A lot of inexperience here, but this is what we're looking like. A lot of inexperience, I mean. That's all there really is to it. We'll take a look at our freshmen. And we desperately need to get some guards in. Like, desperately. Then I had 2 red shirts. Yeah, I'm gonna need these guys to step up next year. All right, but expectations: compete for conference championships, make the tournament. see you guys to end the season. Here we are at the end of the season, so we will be adding another conference regular season championship. Went 14-2 in conference play, 33-5 overall. The conference tournament would see us blank UCF in the first round. Then we'd lose to SMU in the second, so our streak is over in terms of regular season, or not regular season, but conference tournament championships, as we had won 4 in a row. Then as a 1 seed, we would win very close. There's a lot, because it's a single digit. That was close. Ooh, that was close. That's not good. But we won the first round game by 9 points versus a 16 seed, and then we would lose to 9 seed St. Mary's. Mendez still went off 26 points. Take a look at our Final Four. Big Ten matchup between Wisconsin and Indiana for the title, with 2 North Carolina schools, NC State and Charlotte, also being featured in the Final Four. Here's a look at our stats on the year. We'll take a look at these percentages. So we still shot the ball pretty well. So look at the team stats. Didn't have as much offensive firepower this year, so a lot less points have been scored. Here's a look at the awards for the year. So you get a first team all-conference player, a second team all-conference player. Here's a look at our recruits. Not having the same level of success in terms of recruiting the top tier players or All-Americans. Not having the same level of success. And then just to recap the year, we are now up to a 96 in our legacy score. We'll start season number 21 coming up. All right, here we are to start season number 21. Here's a look at the rotations. We will also take a look at our freshmen. There were 2. Did I redshirt them both? All right, so here's 1, McKnight. Wow, that shooting is terrible. Wow. Then, might be him. Got redshirt. Yep. Alright, so conference championships and NCAA bid. That's the goal. See you guys at the end of the year. So here we are to end the season, 26-9 on the year, 11-5 in conference play, so no regular season conference banner. We would bow out to UTEP in the first round of the conference tournament. And then Temple would get us in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Take a look at this year's Final Four. Here are our stats on the year. Had 2 guys named Dornkemp. This guy's really a power forward playing small forward with a kind of impressive stat line here. 15-6, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. So he was a really good player. Take a look at these percentages. So we shot the ball high. And again, nothing that really stands out. Here are this season's awards. So we did, so both Dornkemps were first team guys, good on that. We had a freshman make the all-conference freshman team. This guy, he's actually a red shirt. Expecting big things from him next season. Here's the recruits we'll be bringing in next season. This guy, he's going to be pretty solid day one. Look at that, A+ rebounding and defense. Perfect guy for the system. Probably move him to the 3. We'll see how it goes. And we only move our legacy score up 1 point to a 96. Now we'll start season number 22. So here we are, just to start this season, number 22. We're going back to these sliders. We're going to run this. And we'll go look at our rotation. It's because we're a little deeper this year. Pause. And where was our freshman at? Right here, Miguel Wallace. It was an 86 as a power forward, but I like to use the power forwards like they're small forwards in this system. So and then a red shirt. All right, expectation, conference banners, and maybe a Sweet 16. Let's see how it goes. So here we are, 30-7 on the year, 14-2 in conference play. They did give us a conference championship, like the number 1 seed, but we're going to count it anyway. So another regular season conference title. Now we'll go check out some highlights from the so we come into this tournament without our all-conference point guard, who's averaging 19 points a game because he's injured. So Felder's is filling in for him. We would advance to the conference championship game against Tulsa. So let's check that out. And without Dorncamp, we just weren't able to pull out the win. As the 3 seed, though, we would go on a pretty impressive run here. Dorncamp would come back if we could make it to the Sweet 16, which we did. And in his comeback game, he dropped 33 points, all-time Sweet 16 performance. Gotta love it. But then we would lose to Texas A&M by 4 points. Here's your final 4. And here's our player stats for the years. We'll take a look at these percentages. We shot the ball not that good, honestly. In terms of team stats, it's kind of right where we've been at whenever we're at our best. So the usual. Here are this season's awards. Yuck. Hate to see a Tar Heel getting off like that. Pause. So we had 2 first-team all-conference players. I believe this guy's coming back. He is. We got 2 first-team all-freshmen. So we should be a pretty good team next year. Here's the recruiting class on the year. We were able to sign the number 1 overall player again. They're just not giving us the point for us because one of the Byfields we signed, I believe the one from Minnesota, he was the number 1 overall player. But looks like he fits the bill. And we are now sitting at 105 for the legacy score. So we should be on the board, surpassing Billy Donovan any year now. I'll be curious to see how high up we can get. We're going to have to make, like, to break top 10, we're going to have to at least make 2 more Final Four runs, at least. All right, but I'll see you guys start season number 23. And here are our rotations to start the year. Really deep team. Expecting a championship, I believe. We should probably, this should be a Final Four year. This should be a Final Four year. So we'll take a look at the freshmen we have incoming. 2. First, Nicholson. who was the #1 overall player. And then we redshirted Somerville. We'll see you at the end of the season. Here we are, end of another season, 30-4 on the year, 14-2 in conference play. We would win the regular season conference championship. We end up coasting through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. We would go on to play Tulsa in the championship round. And we beat Tulsa as well, so some more banners, some more parades in my city, yeah. Grind City, Memphis, stand up. We go on to be the 2 seed in the West Regional, so they effectively thought we were the worst 2 seed. Fielder had a career game here, 42 points. We would make it all the way to the Sweet 16 before falling to Colorado. Then that year's Final Four would go on to be Kansas beating NC State. Florida, Texas A&M also advancing. Here's our player stats on the year. Looks like we played some pretty good team ball. Go look at the percentages, see how well we shot the ball. And I think we actually shot the ball pretty good. So here we go. Led the league in a lot of areas, really. Oh, wow. Wow, we shot really well from 3. I wonder where that ranks nationally. Wow, so we were the best 3-point shooting team in the country. Wow. Best shooting team, period. So, yeah, we shot the ball really well this year. Good job. Here goes this year's awards. Boy, that Kansas team is deep. Like, deep, deep. So, no All-American honors for us. Fielder was first team All-Conference, with Drayton being second team All-Conference. And Drayton is actually coming back. Trying to decide if I want to keep him at the point, move him off ball, because, I mean, he's really, because he was a shooting guard and Fielder was the point, but I swapped him. Really good decision to make. Trying to see if I want him to play on ball or off ball. Decisions for a later date, I guess. And we did get in all freshman selection. All right. We had a rather excellent recruiting class. We'll let you take a look at these guys here. And we are now on the leaderboard. We ended up surpassing Billy Donovan this season. And I think it's only up from here. We just keep having parades in the city, man. See you guys start the next year. All right, so here are our rotations to start the year. We'll give you a look at the freshmen. The first will be a starter. Here's the other two. They're both the 82 overall centers. Then the other two, the guards, ended up getting red-shirted, but here they go. Here we are at the end of the season for one of the best years we've had to date. Went 38-2 on the year, 15-1 in conference play, so that's another conference championship for us and another 30-win season. In the conference tournament, we would kind of just get by in the first two rounds against Tulane and Houston, and we would go on to play Tulsa for the conference championship, so you guys can check that out. But first, look at this stat line by Brian, our point guard. 0 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. That's pretty crazy. But enjoy the highlights. Big time win by the Tigers. Here's our stat sheet. And now we'll move on to the NCAA tournament. NCAA tournament, we would not fare as well. We did dub Boston in the first round. And in the second round, we beat Ohio State by 9 points. But then we would lose to North Carolina. We would get dubbed up by North Carolina in the Sweet 16. Here's our player stats on the year. Miguel Wallace really showed out. Got himself a first team all conference selection, so that's pretty cool. Take a look at these percentages. And real quick, Nicholson, he got second team all conference, and this was coming off the bench, so he was lighting it up. He was coming off the bench, but he averaged 24 minutes a game. Let's take a look at our percentages. We shot the ball very well. Very well, I'd say. Here's a look at our team stats. Led the conference in scoring, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Had the least turnovers. And did we do it for fouls? Yeah, so we were the best in the conference by far. And with a record like that, you would assume so. I wonder how we shot compared to everybody else. 45 from the field, 40 from three. Yeah, so we just outdid everybody in the conference at every phase of the game. Here are this season's awards. And so we did get the conference freshman of the year. Three first team all conference selections. Oh wow, and our second team guy, he might have been first if it wasn't for him. That's pretty crazy. And 2 all freshman selections. Here's a look at our signings. One, can't really tell you too much about him. He can play defense though, that's what counts. Here's the other. And here is a recap of the year. I checked my statistics, and apparently I missed the Sweet 16. So there is now 7 instead of 6. Based on the last video, we would have had 6, but based on what the stats actually were, we'd have 7. So there you go. And everything else seems to be in order. So we're currently at a legacy score of 129. So hopefully we'll crack the top 10. Here we are. So look at our rotations for the year. Starting out 10 deep. Again, we'll go to 7 at the end. We did bring in 2 freshmen. So one's here at rotation spot number 11. The other's redshirting. We had 2 centers come in last year. We ended up redshirting this one this year. Just expectations. So we're preseason number 2. Final 4. Final 4. Clear cut. Final 4. Let's go. Year number 25. See you at the end. Here we are to end season number 25. We went 32-2 on the year. 15-1 in league play for another regular season conference championship. The conference tournament would see us advance through the first 2 rounds, being led by Nicholson and Wallace. And we would go on to play Tulsa in the championship round, so we'll take a look at those highlights. They try to come back on us, but no dice. We end up winning behind Arnold, our sophomore. We would go on to be the 1 seed in the South Regional, where we would beat blank Robert Morris in round 1. Miguel Wallace with the 40-11 performance. Nicholson 29-9, almost a triple double. Then we would go on to play Utah. Brian had the standout performance along with Arnold, winning 71-77. Then we would lose by 1 point to Cincinnati, so some March Madness probably going on there. Take a look at the Final Four to end the year. Here are our player stats on the year. Wallace and Nicholson both rounding up to 18. And we'll take a look at our percentages as well. So we shot the ball extremely well. And here are our team stats. I mean, just really good all across the board. Percentages, we shot 46 from the field, 39 from 3. I wonder where that rates nationally as far as how well we shot the ball. Top 3. And then from 3, we're up there. I ain't about to count how many spots down, but we're up there. And here's a look at this year's awards. That's a glitch. So we did get a second team All-American here with Nicholson. Miguel Wallace, though, was the Conference Player of the Year. That's interesting. They had 3 first-team All-Conference players and an All-Freshman team performer. Looking for big things from this guy next year. Now we'll take a look at this year's recruits. We were able to land a number 1 recruit. Here's his stats. We'll go over his ratings as well. And we were also able to grab the number 35 point guard, Memphis's very own. Then we got this guy at center. We were in play for like a top 10 center, but hey, them just the breaks sometimes. Sometimes you don't get them. So here's a look at our rotation to start the season. Not the most talented squad we've had, so most I'm really expecting is going to be hang conference banners, maybe a Sweet 16 push. And here's a look at our freshmen. So here's that number 1 recruit we had. And then we redshirted the other 2. Here's the 5'9" point guard from Memphis, Tennessee. And Mike McFadden from Brooklyn, New York, the center we recruited. All right, I'll see you guys to end the year. Here are the conference standings on the year. We went 31-8 on the year, 12-4 in conference play. So Marshall took the crown from us this year. This time we would be battling on the other side of the bracket. We would win both of those games to make it to the conference championship game. So here go those highlights. And we were able to get it done. Somerville went off 16-12, 7-11 from the field. Leggy, 9 assists, that's nice. So just good overall performance from us. We would be a 4 seed in the tournament. First beating San Francisco, then Hofstra, Rasmussen, 36 points in the second round. Great performance by him. There we go. But we would lose the Providence in the Sweet 16. Here's a look at our stats for our players on the year. Somerville is going to suck that he's going to be leaving. He averaged 2.3 blocks this year. Would have been in the running for a defensive player of the year. Take a look at our percentages. Now it looks like we shot the ball very, very well. Here we go. Led the conference in multiple categories and was at the top for pretty much everything. We could have done better in terms of turnovers. Shooting percentages, wow, 47% from the field, 42 from 3, 73 from the charity stripe. We're just a good team this year. Here's a look at the awards on the year. Wow, he went off for Connecticut. Wow, he went off for Dartmouth. That's crazy. Oh, so we did get Freshman of the Year in Roland Rushing. Averaged 11, 3, 1 and 1. And so he was also first team all freshman or freshman all American. He won Conference Freshman of the Year as well. Rasmussen, first team all CUSA. Here are our signings on the year. Nothing particularly flashy, but some good looking players coming in. That 3-point percentage there, that's really good. Doesn't really match his ratings. Now with this season, we create some more separation with Jay Wright. We're right behind Bobby Knight. Hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and pass him and Lou Olson this upcoming season. Season 27, and I'll catch you there. Here's a look at this year's rotation. We are the number 6 preseason team, very top heavy with the talent though, as you can see. And we'll give you a look at the freshmen. So there were 3 in total. Here's the first. Sorry, that's not him. Right here. Then here's the second. And third. So expectations for the season, conference championships. I think we should always be hanging banners for that. And maybe Elite 8 would be good for this squad. Okay, I'll check you guys at the end of the season. Here we are to end season number 27, 15-1 in conference play, 30-5 overall. So hey, looks like a good year. Another regular season conference championship and 30-win season in the books. In the conference tournament, we would rout Rice 91-51. And then we would beat Tulsa, familiar foe, in these simulations for the championship game of this conference in the semifinal this year. Double-digit win, 14 points. And now we'll go on to face Houston, another familiar foe in the conference championship game. Did it again. Wardens going off, having a really big day, 19-7. So now we'll go on to the NCAA tournament. And we were a 1 seed routing Florida A&M in round 1, but in round 2 we would lose to Stanford by 1 point. Yikes. And it really just came down to them hitting more threes than we did. We went 8 for 21. They went 12 for 22. The defensive strategy worked because we limited the number of possessions they had. Like, we had +7 possessions on them. They missed a lot of free throws too. So, I don't know, they were just a better team. Here are our player stats of the year. We'll take a look at our percentages on the year. And we shot the ball pretty well. Led the conference in a lot of categories once again. I wonder what our percentages look like. Not as good as previous years, but fairly good. Here's a look at this year's awards. Providence went 37-2. That's pretty crazy. And he led them as the National Defensive Player of the Year. So no All-Americans for us. Do have the Conference Championship and Conference Coach of the Year once again. Coming up on 700 wins. So Rasmussen was first team All-CUSA. Riddle, who's coming back, thank goodness I redshirted him, was also first team All-CUSA. He's going to come in as a 95. That's going to be a big boost. Jeff Reese, he's going to be gone. He was second team All-CUSA. Here are our signings. Recruiting class is getting rather light. I think what happened is we were kind of getting recruits because we could offer playing time that the bigger schools couldn't. So that would satisfy, and we have like one of the best coaches in the game right now. So that satisfies a lot of the requirements for, playing for a good coach, maybe being close to home. There's 2 more. Feeling wanted and playing time. So if you can offer playing time, then they're going to feel wanted because they're going to be getting playing time, so they'll feel wanted. So I think that's kind of hurting me now that I'm not in a big conference at a bigger school. I think it's kind of hurting recruiting now a little later on. And here is our legacy score for the simulation so far. Putting our score up to 157. So we're literally 1 point behind Bobby Knight with a few seasons to go. I guess I'd have to say my guess right now would be us passing Denny Crum, RIP, and Boeheim for spot number 11. We've only got 3 more seasons, and we'd have to get a Final Four run or a couple, and maybe a national championship to get top 10. So I don't know. I'll check you guys at the start of the next season. Here we are to take a look at our team for the start of season number 28. This could be a pretty good team. We're playing small though, so rushing, he's that number 1 player we recruited as a small forward. Well, he's a power forward here. I was looking to move him back, but we just don't have the talent to be able to do it. I was considering playing Feast, who was number 0 last year, a freshman. I was considering moving him to power forward. He was like an 82, and I was like, nah, I can't leave all this talent just on the bench. And like Warden and Bathy, these would have been one of the guys that would have had to go to the bench. And just don't feel like either one of them is a big enough of an offensive weapon to be relegated to like that Manu role. Like, because I had the second team All-American, we had Nicholson. That's what he did really well, but his like 3-point shot was like a 91. So I just don't think either one of them can fill that role. So we're just going to go with this, play a little small this year. And we'll take a look at 2 freshmen we brought in. One of them right here, he got redshirted. And he was a 79. We just have a whole bunch of guys that's like, you know, just kind of forced him down. And the other guy right here, no, right here. I actually struck gold with him, 82 overall, but he was the number 92 recruit, so kind of struck gold there. Need to improve his shooting for him to be able to play the role for the team we need him to play, but overall decent pickups. I'll see you to end season number 28. Season 28 concludes with us going 25-8 on the year and 11-5 in conference play. So relatively speaking, a down year. We do get a share of the conference championship, and for whatever reason, they did make us the 1 seed. As the 1 seed, we would blow the doors off of UCF and then get by Houston on the skin of our teeth. And we would go on to play, who did we play? SMU in the championship round. So hope you enjoy that. And this may be our most dominating performance we've seen footage from, beating SMU in the conference championship game 35-80, allowing only 13 points in the second half. It's Grind City, baby. It's a parade in the city. In the NCAA tournament, we would beat Providence in the first round, slightly an upset, even though we were, I believe, like preseason number 8 or 7. Then we would lose to Vanderbilt in round 2. Take a look at our Final Four, which sees Texas bringing it home. Everybody was a 5 or a 6 seed. That's kind of neat. Here are our player stats on the season. We'll take a look at the percentages. Our players shot individually. So Riddle, our center, he almost shot 60%. Here are our team stats on the year. Look pretty good across the board. Again, shooting the ball very well. Here are the awards on the season. So we did get 2 first-team all-conference performers and 2 second-team all-conference performers. Our center, we'll take a look when we get to his stats, but he was out for a good chunk of the season, so that's why he didn't get any all-conference honors. We also had our freshman Jacobson getting all freshman honors. Here are our signings on the year. I don't know why, but now it seems like we can only sign small forwards as like the top rated recruits. Very interesting. Here we are to recap the season. We now have a score of 168, so we're firmly at 14 on the list. We've got 2 more seasons. Maybe we can crack top 10 and take a Final Four run, honestly. But we'll just have to see. I still think we get 11. 10, not so sure about. But I'll see you guys to start season number 29. So here we are, season 29. Here's a look at our roster. We're going 10 deep to start, using our usual coaching sliders. The expectation, I think we're preseason number 12. Conference banners, need a parade in the city. Hopefully a tournament run. I want to get a Final Four run either this year or next year, so that way we could comfortably be in the 10 spot. But We'll see how it goes. Let's take a look at our freshmen. So here's one. And here are the other two. They ended up getting redshirted. Now check you guys out at the end of the season. So here we are, the end of year 29, and we went 29-4, 13-3 in conference play. We did get the 1 seed in the conference tournament, so another regular season championship in the books. First round of the conference tournament would see us run through SMU as well as ECU, and we would go on to face Tulsa once again for the championship. Wow, championship pedigree shining through for the Tigers. It's a parade in my city, yeah. Hopefully it's not the last one. Hopefully we'll continue this season to hang banners, as well as next season, our final season. And this season we're not gonna hang banners, anymore. After routing Northwestern State in round 1, tough loss to LSU. LSU was like a 90 overall. This really sucks. Hey, what can you do? Here's a look at the Final Four. Here are our individual stats for the year. Take a look at those percentages. So I didn't really shoot the ball as well this year. Once again, pretty much at the top of all the statistical categories for Conference USA. And we did shoot the ball okay. It's just not as good as other years. And here's a look at the awards for this season. Wow, we really could have won if South Carolina. Wow. That's a glitch. Conference champion and conference coach of the year. Our point guard was first team All CUSA, and our shooting guard was second team All CUSA. Here are our signings for the year. And again, we're just not getting the same caliber of player we were previously getting. Just not getting them. And this guy's a world recruit, so we only have so much info. Here we go. We're at 171 to end season 29. We got one more year. Hopefully it's a banner year. We can crack that top 10. See you guys on the other side. Here we are to end our final season. Here is the rotation. Kind of sucks we got to end like this. So we're gonna go with a bigger lineup. This guy was power forward. Number 9 power forward. We're playing him at small forward. Peterson, top rated small forward. Number 2 small forward, playing him at 2. And Hassel was a shooting guard. We're having to play him at the 1. I don't really know what's going to happen. We're going to have to thoroughly out rebound everybody we play, just because our size is our strength. So hopefully that ends up going well. But I'll see you guys on the other side. Real quick, freshmen. We had 2, so here's 1. And here's a look at the other. See you guys on the other side. Here we are once again. Final parade in the city. 16-0 in conference play, so undefeated in conference play. Good way to go out, as we dominated the conference really. That's where the bulk of our legacy score comes from. 36-2 overall. The conference tournament, we would run through a UCF and then just get by Tulsa. Big time comeback, another one on those guys. And we would go on to face SMU in the conference championship game. So take a look at some highlights from that. Alright, we were able to pull that one out. Good deal. So another banner, another parade for the city. Let's see if we can have another. And unfortunately, there is no more parade as we would advance to the Sweet 16 to take on Arkansas. And that's where our story ends. We'll take a look at the Final Four. At Florida coming out on top. Here's a look at our player stats to end the final season. And this guy's supposed to be a shooting guard, so it's kind of impressive he led the offense the way he did. And he just shot lights out. 48% from the field, 46% from three. He was a pretty good player. And we had to play a lot slower because we really had to rely on size, but these are decent stats considering that. We'll also take a look at our percentages. He shot the ball pretty good. Pretty good. Here are our awards on the season. So Hal Sell was actually a second team All-American. Another year, and he could potentially make that Hall of Fame. Tisk, hate it for him. Maybe if I pick the sim up later. We'll take a look at our conference awards. Marshall was probably our second biggest threat there for a while. We got 2 first team all conference players. And then all freshman team performer as well. These are the recruits we are leaving behind. Nothing really. This isn't as sad as some of the other sims where we were bringing in like some bona fide studs. But still. Here we are for the final recap of the season. So we finish with a legacy score of 182. This legacy score puts us firmly in the number 10 spot above Tom Izzo. So we were able to crack the top 10, just under Rick Pitino. We're about 6 points off from him. So now we'll see where he ranks in terms of the other sims we've done, and he ranks at number 2 in between Steve Nash and Chris Bosch. Alright, so we'll go ahead and head on over, give our final thoughts on this simulation. And now that our time has come to an end, with this simulation we will discuss our major takeaways. So one is that, as expected, it works well with bigger lineups. So as long as you train your players to be good in defense, overall, great system to run. Because you can run it with bigger players or smaller players. Kind of discovered 2 key strategies. So key strategies are things that I look at as kind of cheat codes in the game when it comes to coaching. So to give examples of ones that we've already done, one would be what I call the baby Bron player. That super athletic small forward who's also skilled and has size. You move him to the power forward, pace and space, he's a cheat code. Another example would be when we ran the small ball simulation and we just went all in on being small, but we were really good at shooting threes. You can kind of just turn the tempo up, let them rain, and you'll win a bunch of games just because you can shoot. So that's another key strategy. So there's 2 that I kind of discovered here. The first was with pace and space. So if you kind of run this defensive system, you can do pace and space, but with like less pace, if that makes any sense. You kind of still need to test that some more because I didn't really have the players consistently enough to give that a go. But a bunch of 3-point shooters, rim protector, and that baby Bron player there. But you're really good on defense and everybody can score. That would be an awesome strategy to use, one that would be almost unbeatable. The other one would be, I guess I'll call this one size matters. So what I did a lot of times is I would have two centers, one playing power forward, but I'd have two centers, then I'd have a power forward playing small forward. Then from there, preferably two combo guards that are on the 6'4" plus side both. That way you have a lot of size, and with all that size, I could turn the sliders down to like 20 or 40 on the offensive tempo, 100 defense, and then 20 for our transition defense and defensive rebound. So if you do that, you kind of create this weird scenario where like you're by far and away a better rebounding team than the opponent. Even if they're really good rebounding, you're still more than likely going to be way better than them at it, just because you have three bigs on the floor and two big guards. So you'll be just naturally a better rebounding team. If you run that system and your team's able to control pace at that 30 seconds and then not letting any transition go, you control the number of opportunities that the team has to score. So you're really, really, really good defensively if you got the good defensive players to pull this off. And you also you're really good defensively, and you really out rebound the opponent. Like I was getting rebound margins consistently of like 7, 8 plus. So it's kind of like a strategy where if you got the players, then you can kind of coach your way to definite victory. So I'll be looking to try those out in future simulations, just to kind of solidify them. Then I guess I'd go over the pros and cons of being at a mid-major, because that's what we were with Memphis. So Memphis is at a weird spot in the game where it is a mid-major school because it's in a mid-major conference. But the coaches that go to that school, they won't leave that school for like Duke or Carolina. Very weird. But there's pros and cons that come with playing with a mid-major like Memphis. So pros, hey, you could easily dominate the conference, which we did. I mean, we were pretty much winning the conference championship, double conference championships every year just about. Went undefeated in conference play twice. So it's real easy, you can glide through it. But in terms of the cons, I'd say the biggest con is going to be the recruiting. You don't get the same level of player, because some of the guys, their recruiting priorities, meaning what they're looking to get out of college basketball, if they say playing at a big time program or that they want to play in a certain conference or like at a certain level, then you're already ixnayed out. So it really hurts recruiting, especially on a national basis. I probably could have recruited better if I would have stuck to more so like local and municipal and regular distances, but I tried to get some big time recruits, and I did get some. It's just it wasn't consistent enough. Alright, so those are my major takeaways. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace, and I'll catch you next time.